We turn to the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line right now. The Mr. Bracketology himself, kind enough to join us amidst a busy March Madness Friday in advance of the brackets coming out for the big dance writ large. Joe Lunardi back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Joseph?
I am great, Rich. It's great to talk to you as always. And, here we are. Baseball, football, and even a little college basketball in the news.
I do love it. Even though I just want to just front up, just straight out, Joe, I will shoot you straight. Even though you're my third guest today and you're in the third hour, you're a quad one guest to me, just so you understand.
Wow.
You're a quad one guest.
And because I just got a note that said, as a host, you were first four out.
Oh, no. You must have got a note from management back in 2003 there at ESPN. That must have been. That must be a 19-year-old note you found in a desk drawer there in Bristol.
Nope. I'm still, always feel happy to be on with you. This summer I played golf a couple times with Rever, the Big Ten Network. So
fantastic.
We old guys, we got to stick together.
Well, it was great to see Dave Revson, albeit not delivering the proper news yesterday. My alma mater getting bounced in the first game that they played in the Big Ten tournament. Tell me about Michigan. I'm just going to go straight to my own personal interest before going writ large with you. Is Michigan in or out, do you think, right now?
They're going to make it. I would say at this moment about 60-40 to not have to play in the opening round in Dayton. But we will see how that goes. I seem to be a little bit in the minority and maybe overrating them more than most. Maybe might have something to do with the whole Lunardi-Martelli thing. But I'm certainly trying not to have that come into play. I just think, we keep comparing Michigan to last year and to its own preseason expectations as opposed to the other bubble teams that they're competing with, right? And when you do that, they look a lot better.
All right, so who are the other bubble teams that they're competing with then, Joe?
Well, Wyoming, Xavier, Wake Forest, now Indiana, which has just posted another big win, even bigger than yesterday against Illinois. Some of those teams are going to go to Dayton. Maybe one or two that currently out, but surging, like a Virginia Tech or an Oklahoma. Texas A&M is trying to put the finishing touches on Auburn, and then we'll hear. Texas A&M. We'll hear what does that mean for A&M. The real story is it might cost Auburn a 1 seed. In the drive for show, putt for dough category, you got to focus on the top because we're all going to worry about upsets and double-digit seeds and 12-5 and all that. And, I'm as vulnerable to doing that as anyone. But 3-4 weeks from now, when we're talking Sweet 16, Final Four, those are the scenarios at the very top, among the top 2, 3, 4 lines that matter the most. Okay. So Joe Lunardi, ESPN bracketologist here on the Rich Eisen Show. So the bubbles teams you've just expressed, and then everything you just said then is assuming we're not going to see some team go on a run for the ages and cut down a conference tournament net that is the only path for them to get into the bracket, right? That's the only right. So let me give you the math right now.
Uh-huh.
And there's going to be all this talk on the air by analysts and even myself.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there are 2 spots in play. 2.
That's it.
Currently held by Xavier and Wake Forest. And there are an unusually high number, at least in my view, of teams in hot pursuit chasing those 2 spots. It's unusual to only have 2 up for grabs at this point. And B, it's scary because in your scenario, if I don't know, UMass wins the Atlantic 10 tournament, well, then it's 1 spot, right? If somebody comes from off the board, if Colorado wins the Pac-12 tournament, that's a spot. If Texas A&M runs the table now in Tampa at the SEC tournament, that's the spot. So it could be that the committee's work at the end of the line is closer to being done than their process would even allow them to realize at this point.
How about that?
Because they're following like a very methodical, very necessary, very kind of checks and balances way to get to the finish line of balancing the auto bid winners and the available at-larges. And that line can and will move all the way through, sometimes even to Sunday afternoon. But I have the luxury, being a committee of one,
yes,
of peeking ahead, right, and trying to envision scenarios. And it looks to me that we're already running out of real estate.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fascinating as we're watching all this. You think there's just, barring nobody coming out of the blue like a bolt of lightning, flying the ointment, whatever you want to say, there's only two spots really that are kind of on shaky ground. That's kind of wild.
And for me, just again, back of the envelope from years past, what do I remember? We're usually not at that stage, I don't think, at lunchtime on Friday, which of course means I'm probably way, way off. And, the Miami Dolphins are going to be the last team. Who knows? Maybe this is a year of a curveball in the dirt.
Joe Lunardi, ESPN Bracketologist here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, so your best crystal ball of the top seeds, and I know things can change, but it does appear, my eyesight shows me it's like an 8-point lead Texas A&M has on Auburn right now in the SEC tournament. So what do you think?
Yeah, looks like that's going to happen. All right, well, it's one thing to lose and not gain ground. It's another thing to be passed by somebody who's done better or more than you. So at this moment, I'm still going to go with the top line in order of Gonzaga, Arizona, Kansas, and Baylor. Baylor having lost, but dropping from second overall to fourth overall in doing so. Auburn was fifth overall, in prime position to take advantage of Baylor. Now Kentucky is in that kind of co-pilot seat of next up. And if UK goes on and wins the SEC tournament and, Kansas gets, let's say, the final of the Big 12, I think, and I thought all week that we would have, after the two West Coast teams, Gonzaga and Arizona, we would have last man standing from the SEC and last man standing from the Big 12 on the top line. I think that at some point that's just common sense when the resumes and all the counting exercises that we do are, within the margin of error and close enough. Like the logic is, you just won something, right? If Kansas and Kentucky win their respective conference tournaments and Auburn and Baylor go out in the quarterfinals, that should mean something. I know it's body of work. I know November is supposed to count as much as March, et cetera, et cetera. But there's also a common sense element to this.
How's Vitale doing? How's he doing?
I don't have any new information other than, what he put out a couple days ago, which was phenomenal, miraculous news. And, I'm sure you share the view that we all do that, for all the good he's done for our sport, and even more so for children in pediatric cancer.
Right.
Good Lord, he deserves a bounce in his direction.
I agree. I love that man.
But I have to say, it has been quieter.
I did see some videos of it that he's been doing, and he just looks and he sounds great. I know.
But, Rich, they're going to be saying the same thing about me someday.
You know what, Joe? You're the best, man.
Bracketology.
I know.
Here we are.
This is your tax season, man. Enjoy it. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it, Joe.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Be well.
You bet. That's Joe Lunardi right here. All right. Joe says Michigan's in. And we're in.
And you're back.
We're back. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.